So I'm excited because today we're going to be talking about a gun that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and we finally can. And I'll tell you why. Today we're talking about the ultimate budget sniper. This might be the Mosin Killer. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Xfield and Hideout. If you guys have never been here before, I'm super excited you guys are here. We do a lot of different Tarkov content, so if you decide that you like the content and you want to see a bunch more, I've been putting out 3 to 4 videos a week. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You could always hit the little bell if you want to be notified when these videos go live. Today, we're going to be talking about the ultimate budget sniper, the SV98, and I'm super excited about it. It might be the Mosin Killer, and also it is now viable. Before we get into the video, I want you guys to know that I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. PST. We usually have an amazing time, so I would love to see you there. But without further ado, let's get into this build. Oh man, so today we're going to be talking about the 7.62 by 54 millimeter bolt action rifle, the SV98. And I actually made a Mosin build that many of us would be running if it wasn't for this build that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you how the Mosin build is more expensive with worse stats. Now, most of you have heard the SV98 is not viable because of the trigger delay. So some people say it wasn't there. I honestly did fill it at times, which was weird because there was other times that I used it and I didn't fill it. Basically, what was happening is there was such a delay that when you're tracking somebody and you would shoot, it's like you would click and then it would be like, and then shoot. And you would just get off shots, and that feels terrible as a sniper because it is so important that when you pull the trigger, you release the round because you want to be able to get that kill, especially if you're tracking somebody who's running or dodging your bullets because they know they've either seen you or you missed your first shot, whatever the case is. So that was why people are like, I'll never run the SV98 no matter how cheap it is, because that trigger delay makes it so that I can never kill anybody. The other reason why people don't run the SV98 is because it's extremely loud. Like, it is very loud. So we are going to run it suppressed. You guys already know I run most of my weapons suppressed. It is a little bit more expensive, so feel free to run a very loud sniper rifle and let the whole map know where you are if you want to. That's totally up to you. The other thing about sniping is you kind of want to be a little bit more covert, because if everybody knows where you're at, your spot is going to be taken up, and if you get rushed and you don't have another firearm, you are probably going to get demolished. So we are getting into the SV98 build, and we will also talk about the Mosin build. So right away we can compare these two, and we have the Mosin at 0 ergonomics. 0 ergonomics, and we're running it with the Brommet, and it's going to be at 183 vertical recoil, over 100k. Then we have the SV98, which is at 29 ergo and 139 vertical recoil. Also, just so you guys know, all the links you guys need will be down below in the description, and I'm going to be running a budget version for you guys and the budget version that I run. Both of them are still cheaper than the Mosin, and I'm going to reveal the Mosin price and stats at the end of this build when we go over the complete build. And then we're also going to test out both scopes in the hideout so you guys can see what they look like. Timestamps will be there for everything. All right, so the very first part of the build, we're going to go with what it doesn't come with when you purchase it. First, you buy the SV98 for, I got this one for 38,000 rubles on the flea market. You can get it as low as 21,000 rubles. You just kind of have to look around. You guys know how the flea market works. So the very first thing we're going to grab is the 30 millimeter rings so that we can run the TAC 30. So the 30 millimeter rings are going to be 6,133 rubles from Jaeger level 3, and it's going to take off 1 ergo. On top of that, one of my favorite scopes is going to be the TAC 30. So we have the Burris full field TAC 30. That is going to be 31,000 rubles, and then you can get that on flea market, so it fluctuates as well. And then that is going to give us the -3 ergonomics. Now, the reason why I'm doing 2 separate builds is because sometimes people think the TAC 30 is a little bit pricey. If you like the Voodoo Voodoo is about 50k. So it really depends on what your preference is, but the cool thing about the SV98 versus the Mosin is you can choose which rings you want to put on and what scope you want to use. So when you look at it compared to the Mosin is very limited. This also, we're going to be running a 10-round magazine versus your 5-round internal box in the Mosin, unless you wanted to do like a different body and then add mags, which those mags, by the way, are 90k on flea market for the 10-round Mosin mags in the Archangel. But as is, you're very, very limited. And then everyone runs the Brommet, which is also like 45k. And then we are going to be running a different suppressor. And then lastly, the SV98 comes stock with a lot better ergo than the Mosin. So throwing those out there, let's move on to the next part. So the next part, so that was for the 30mm ring and the TAC 30. If you guys want something a little bit cheaper, literally a third of the price, which is totally fine, you would get the 25mm rings, and you can get those for 1,683 rubles from Jaeger level 1. So this is also going to benefit the low level players who want to make this build as well. The 30mm rings are available Jaeger 3. So if you're low level, Jaeger 1, you can get the 25mm rings, and it's going to take away -2 ergo. And then on top of that, you're going to be putting the VOMZ P-Lod, and that is going to be 9,800 rubles from the flea market. So it's very cheap, and that's going to knock off 4 of our ergonomics. But this could be your low-level budget SV98 option. Next, we are going to go over what you need to put on the suppressor, which is the thread adapter. The thread adapter is going to be 5,107 rubles from proper level 3, and it's going to take away 2% of our recoil. And then on top of that, we are going to be running the regular, so you're kind of limited with the suppressors, unlike the Mosin, but the other suppressors for the Mosin really aren't that good, so it doesn't matter. We're going to be running the regular suppressor, and that is going to be 26,000 rubles on flea market, giving us -9% vertical recoil and -8 ergonomics. So it does take away from the ergo quite a bit, but in my opinion, especially when you see how loud this weapon is, it is worth it to run it suppressed. Then on top of that, just a little bit extra, we're going to be running the heat shield. Now, the heat shield is literally just to provide us with that extra 1 ergo, because you guys know how it is. I try to get as much points as we can for the price. The heat shield is only 424 rubles from proper level 3. So it's 400 rubles for a point of ergo is completely worth it. And guys, that is literally the build. It's very, very simple. There's nothing too in-depth or extensive about it, but it's an amazing build. So if you want to use this for quests, if you want to use this for shooter born, this is actually a great gun for that because of the rounds we're using. So that's what I want to talk about. Before we go into the hideout and test it out, I want to talk about the rounds you should possibly be using for your 7.62 by 54 bolt action. Okay, so let's talk about the rounds you guys are going to be using. The 3 best rounds, in my opinion, for the price are going to be 7-in-1, which I use mostly for everything. Then you have your LPS GZH, which is kind of like your budget, but still amazing round. It's kind of underrated in my opinion. I think people think because it's cheaper that the stats just aren't good. But if people look at the numbers, they can see that LPS is definitely a round that you can use most of the time. And then you have SNB, which a lot of people use for shooter born because you want to be able to pen helmets or any type of armor. And we're going to go over those numbers right now. So the SNB is going to be at 75 flesh and 62 for the pen. So it's penning 62. Literally anything in the game, this is going to pen. But it kind of, if you don't need that much pen, you can get more flesh on the LPS GZH at 81 flesh and 42 pen. So you are going to have a little bit, you're going to have to hit people a couple more times if they're running Tactec, one of the new armors, Gazelle, all of these class 5, and then obviously if they're running any class 6, Zuck or Slick or whatever. And then you have the 7-in-1, which is going to be 86 flesh, so more than LPS, and 45 pen. So it's like a better LPS GZH round. The problem is LPS runs about 300 to 400 rubles a round, which isn't bad at all. And then you have SNB, which is about 500-600 rubles around. And then 7 and 1, it's only 780 rubles a roundabout if you get it from proper. But the thing is it's been nerfed and you can only get 50 at a time from proper. So you really have to pay attention to the resets and restock if you want to use 7 and 1 for cheaper, because on the flea market, it's like 1,600 rubles around, sometimes up to 2,000. So in that aspect, I wouldn't be paying 1,500 to 2,000 around for 7 and 1. I would just go down to LPS. But it's completely up to you guys. These are the rounds you guys could use for the prices. So whatever you feel like is going to benefit you more, just use those. Okay, so that is the complete build. Let's go into the hideout and see how this works, and I'll show you both scopes. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you guys. Make sure when it comes with the bipod right here, you just take that off. Take it off and sell it, because you're not going to want to run that. It's just making your build worse. All right, so we're running the P-Lot first, which is like the budget. And this is what it's going to be, what this looks like. Ergo's not terrible. As you can see, I already tested out a couple shots. And we're going to shoot. See, it's kind of loud. I mean, we're inside, but it's kind of loud even with the suppressor. Can you guys imagine without the suppressor? So this is going to be the P-Lot. If you guys like this, you get to spend that amount. Let's put on the TAC 30 real quick. So we're just going to move this. We're going to switch it by the rings. That way we pull both. And then we're going to go right back into here. This is honestly one of my favorite scopes. And the reason why is because this is what it looks like close range. So if you really need to, you don't need to run something canted. You don't even need to run the other 30mm rings that have the sight on top. You can literally just look at how close this is, and you can just pull it up and you can get someone just like that. And then if you need it, look at how clear that is. It just gives you such a clear picture. And then you even have your little dots if you need to sight in further and you're not zeroing in accordingly, or even if you are zeroing in accordingly. SV98. All right, so let's talk about the complete builds. We have the budget TAC 30 build, which is what we're running right now. That's going to be at 29 ergo, 139 vertical, at 106,664 rubles. Barely over 100K, and you get the full everything. Then we're going to go to the budget P-Lot build. That is going to be 81,014 rubles. So you're saving a nice little amount right there, with 27 ergo and 139 vertical. The Mosin you guys have probably been running, just stock with the Bromit, is going to be 110,507 rubles with 0 ergo and 183 vertical. So I hate to say it for all of the Mosin men who are still going to run the Mosin. I'm just saying, you get the 10-round magazine, you get the better ergo, you get the better price. The SV98, I think, might be the Mosin Killer. It's running the exact same round. Wow. Yeah, that's the build. Thank you guys so much for watching the build. I hope you got something out of it. If you guys got some value out of this video, make sure you smash that like button, because it goes a long way for the channel. And you guys have truly been helping me out by liking the content. If you guys want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and you can always hit the little bell if you never want to miss an upload. I hope to see you guys by the stream soon, and also in the Discord. We are pushing for Discord partner, so it would mean a lot to me. And also, if you don't want to run things solo, if you checked out the Discord, there's a lot of amazing people in there for the Tarkov community. And like always, guys, I would love to see you guys by the stream at twitch.tv/xvlnghost, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. PST. Whether you want to chill after work, get into some raids, or talk about this stuff live, either way, I think we'll have a great time. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope this sniper rifle is the best budget sniper in your stash. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Oh gosh!